is a Tim Burton film in the sense that the story, its world, and its look first took shape in Burton's mind, and he supervised their filming. But the director of the film, a veteran stop-action master named Henry Selick, is the person who has made it all work, and his achievement is enormous. Working with gifted artists and designers, he has made a world here that is completely new, as the worlds we saw for the first time in such films as Metropolis, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, or Star Wars. What all of these films have in common is visual richness, so abundant that they deserve more than one viewing. First, go for the story. Then go back just to look in the corners of the screen and appreciate the little visual surprises and inspirations that are tucked into every nook and cranny. The songs by Danny Elfman are fun too, a couple of them using lyrics so clever that they could be updated from Gilbert and Sullivan. And that is a review from Roger Ebert in 1993 for The Nightmare Before Christmas. Hello and welcome to Total 90s Recall. I'm Molly.
And I'm Chloe.
And today, as I mentioned, we are talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas because if you are listening to this on the day it's released, it is Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Chloe and I are celebrating. I have my mulled cider.
And I have my Baileys.
Yes.
Traditional girl.
Yes. Cheers to you wherever you are. But so before we get to The Nightmare Before Christmas, since this is our Christmas episode, Chloe, what is some of Christmas traditions you like and you enjoy and you look forward to?
Well, not necessarily traditions, but certain films that I like to watch at Christmas. For me, I do love a bit of Muppets Christmas Carol. It is the best of the Dickens adaptations. It's brilliant. And I feel like its cultural impact is very long and casts a long shadow on everything because people are always playing that game of, if you were going to do a Muppets version of any film, who would you cast as your single actor and everyone else as Muppets? The other thing that I love to watch, I think it's usually broadcast on Channel 4 on Christmas Eve, and I'd be really intrigued to know if you know this film, Molly, is The Snowman.
Yeah. Yep.
The Raymond Briggs animation. It's beautiful. Just the very thought of it makes me tear up. I think it is genuinely just one of the best Christmas traditions out there. How about you?
So yes, Muppets is definitely on there, especially now having a child. I'd watched it growing up, but hadn't watched it in years, maybe decades. And then once Charlotte comes along, you want to watch stuff with them, but you also want to get your own entertainment. And so, yeah, Muppets has become our traditions that we kick off the season with her. And it's what's amazing about, I'm sure people have seen this online and you may probably know this as well, but what was great about that film and what makes it so successful is Michael Caine and the fact that he treated the Muppets as fellow actors. He didn't treat them as Muppets. They were fellow actors. He was going to act the shit out of this like it's a Shakespeare play, and he fucking did.
He's a professional actor.
Ultimate professional actor. Yeah. So that's a new one. But for me growing up, It's a Wonderful Life. I have to watch that. And I think that's in America, just play and play and play. And now I have to watch that. I watch it every single year. And I think it's because not just the comfort of it, but there's a lot of social themes in that.
It fell foul of the House of Un-American Activity or whatever the thing was called.
There is some socialist themes in there, because, it really asks what is rich? What is richness in life? But Frank Capra went bankrupt making that film and it wasn't very successful, actually. I think it did get nominated for some Oscars, but, financially not very successful. And it wasn't until it was on reruns in America that it started getting this, it's a beloved classic.
Yeah.
And then my other last film that I always it's going to sound weird, but it's me. And this is how I kick off the season. As of recording this, beloved director and actor and activist Rob Reiner has died this week, tragically, along with his wife, Michelle, who is also a brilliant photographer and activist and filmmaker in her own right. But When Harry Met Sally, it's one of my favorite films. I watch it, and I know it sounds weird. It's not like a Christmas movie, but it ends on New Year's Eve, and there's two scenes during Christmas. And that's how that's like the first film I watch every year. And I watch it with myself, or if my mom's in town with her.
It's cozy.
It's cozy. And also with It's a Wonderful Life, I pick up things almost now, not so much, but I used to pick up things every single time I watched it, and especially with It's a Wonderful Life because of the code. And at the time, it can't say certain things, but they're insinuated. And as an adult, you pick up on it. But yeah, like last year, I waited until my mom came in town for Christmas, but she didn't get here. So maybe like a week before. So I didn't feel like in the spirit until I watched that. So those are kind of my films I have to watch every season, which I've done except for It's a Wonderful Life, which I'll probably either watch this weekend or next week.
Some good tips for general Christmassy films. And in terms of Christmassy snacks, as a transplant to our wonderful shores,
yes,
how do you feel about mince pies and Christmas pudding and our other wonderful Christmas traditions in the UK?
Well, I love Christmas crackers. I really love
So
those.
you don't have them in America. I've heard about this.
We do not have them, but I love Christmas crackers. I love the crowns. I love the lame jokes. Love them. Mince pies.
Do we need to explain to American listeners what a mince pie is?
Yes, you do.
God, how do I explain? So it's not actually mince. I don't know if originally in the Victorian times it might have been made with, mince beef or something. But nowadays I'm sure it's vegetarian and it's sort of like currants and raisins and fruit and spiced, and it's in this very thick, viscous sauce that's all cooked down. You can buy jars of it and then it's served in a kind of pastry shell, and it varies in quality massively. But it's really nice if you make it yourself, I think.
Maybe I should try that because they are quite sweet.
They are.
And my husband loves them, and I do not. Except for Waitrose. Waitrose has some that are limoncello. This is the first year I've had them, and they're really good. I really like the limoncello Waitrose ones.
I'm very weirded out by the idea of a limoncello. I mean, this is a bit like, I'm surprised. I thought better of Waitrose, basically, because M&S is the store over here that does crazed Frankenstein versions of classic traditional foods. So like at Easter, they do all sorts of kind of bizarre variations of hot cross buns and all of that. So I don't know. I expected better of Waitrose. But you know what? Maybe in the spirit of Christmas miracles, I will go to Waitrose and try the limoncello. I think
good.
It sounds weird.
It's really good. And I will say it has vodka in it because I bought them. So my daughter's best friend, his family moved back to New Zealand. And so it was like their last day and we were on the playground. So I was like, I'll get some mince pies for the kids. That'll be great. Like bye-bye UK tradition. But then I look at it, I'm like, oh, you dum-dum. Like this has vodka in it, you idiot. So I had to go out and go to Co-op and just buy, some like 3-pound mince pies. They might have even been £1.50. And so I give the kids that, and I give the adults had the limoncello, and they were delicious.
Okay, I'll try. Yeah.
You know what I miss in America that I'm gonna try to make here is eggnog. Do you know what eggnog is?
I'm aware of it because it's in all Hollywood films about Christmas.
It's like this very thick, creamy, milk-looking beverage. For adults, it's spiked. And yeah, it's very thick. So growing up, I didn't realize that nobody else did this, but my parents would always like add milk because it was so thick. So it's not something I'm going to have a lot of, but I just need like 1 carton of eggnog and I would be fine. But it has like nutmeg and maybe cinnamon,
but it's
maybe
not alcoholic.
Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
I mean, growing up, I obviously did not have it with alcohol. My family, my household was like teetotalers.
The alcohol is hitting now.
But yeah, as I grew up, it's like Southern Comfort is like, they make the best eggnog to me.
Okay.
But you can get it without alcohol, and people add alcohol to it. There's like bourbon or brandy. Some people do rum. Okay, so let's get back to The Nightmare Before Christmas as we prepare you for the rest of your Christmas time. Chloe, before you tell me like what you thought of this film, remind me, have you seen this before?
I've definitely seen it before, but I can't really remember when. I might have seen it as an adult. I don't think it's a film that I grew up with. In my head, it was kind of like a cult classic for a long time, but it's become much more mainstream. There's much more, if you go to the Disney store, there's loads of merchandise and everything. And I was surprised when watching it. I think in my head, it was more like a Grinch-like film. And actually, Jack Skellington's quite a jolly fellow.
Yeah.
Gets things wrong.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's not, it isn't the film that I remembered it as being in terms of tone.
So I had never seen this. It's definitely in my brain just kind of growing up because you see those images and stuff. So there's definitely like a lot of the iconography I knew, Danny Elfman's soundtrack, his music, definitely knew that. But this was my first time seeing it, and it was we'll get to it. So first, let's get to the stats of the film. First release was at the New York Film Festival on October 9th, 1993, and a wide release in America on the 29th of October, 1993. Do you want to guess when it was, or maybe you know, when it was released in the UK?
Probably sort of like 3 years later or something.
A year later, yeah. 25th of November, 1994.
Well, this is my thing, Molly. I, as a child, spent my whole life, it felt like, waiting for Hollywood films to be released.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I thought to myself, oh, maybe I was just a child that just sort of thought like a week was a long time to me then. But actually, it really was a very long gap. Why did they have to have such a long gap?
We've talked about this on offline, and I think it's because, you know, the U.S. market is so big and a lot of the money comes from the U.S. and everything was like Hollywood. But I still don't understand why some of these films, like a year later, maybe and to be fair, maybe also it's a distribution. They need to find distributors in the U.K., so that's probably a big thing. Whereas now with digital, first you gotta contend with spoilers coming out online. You gotta deal with social media, and then also everything's digital, so it can be more immediate. And I think distributors have like everything kind of condensed, you know. So that's my theory. I don't know if I'm right, but we should look into that. The next crafts person we have on, we should ask them about that. Anyway, okay. So as we mentioned in the review, it was directed by Henry Selick, not Tim Burton. It was written, well, the stories and characters were by Tim Burton. Also, Michael McDowell adapted it. Michael McDowell, he wrote Beetlejuice and Thinner. And then Caroline Thompson was a screenplay. She also wrote, this is amazing, Edward Scissorhands, The Addams Family, Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, like, right there. The Secret Garden, Black Beauty, and Corpse Bride. As I mentioned, produced by Tim Burton, and it's the voices of Danny Elfman, who also did the music, and he was Jack's singing voice, Chris Sarandon, Susan Sarandon's ex-husband, first husband, Catherine O'Hara, Glenn Shattuck, who we know from Beetlejuice, Paul Rubens, William Hickey, Ken Page, Greg Proops. So this was a log line on IMDb. Jack Skellington, king of Halloween Town, discovers Christmas Town, but his attempts to bring Christmas to his home causes confusion.
Confusion. Quote marks. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. I love how understated the IMDb log lines are. They're just sort of like, it's almost getting into describe a movie badly territory. But yes.
Yes.
Could I have a shout out to some of the artists that made this film as well?
Yes.
So I sort of noted Denise Denovi was the producer, animation and art teams led by Joe Ramft, the storyboard director, Eric Layton, supervising animator, and Dean Taylor, the art director, set designer Greg Olson, and character fabrication supervisor Benita DiCarlo. And I just watched a little making of thing on YouTube, and I am in awe of the animators. So
yes,
shout out to them.
Well, and I think that's one reason we're talking about this today. You know, it's Christmas. We're like, what should we do for a Christmas movie? And this actually, what's interesting, so this budget was between 18 million to 24 million. I couldn't find exact numbers, but it grossed 50 million domestically, which is a modest hit. It's not like, banger. But where it really won the money was in its re-releases. And like, as you mentioned, it's gained, notoriety since. And so worldwide gross has surpassed 100 million due to these theatrical reruns. But when you're talking about this film, you have to talk about the artistry. Spoiler alert, we'll get into it now. Like, I got to say, this isn't a film for me, but one thing you cannot deny is the artistry. And I went down like a whole rabbit hole of how they made Zero, his dog. Like, that was amazing. And I think why I had never watched this is I was like, oh, stop motion. And for me, you're talking about the snowman on Christmas Eve. And in America, on Christmas Eve, there's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And it's from the 70s. It's stop motion. And it's very much like what you think of when you think of stop motion. And I just never really liked that. But as I'm sure you read, is that what was interesting about this is they lit it up like you would a live action film. And that's why you get all these dynamic scenes and it looks so like real and it looks so unique. And yeah, I don't think you cannot talk about this film without talking about the craft.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is a real kind of tour de force on that front. I think it's also interesting just in terms of its afterlife. It was something that Tim Burton had been kind of thinking about for a long time, and he tried to develop it in-house. He was previously an animator working for Disney, then left, made his name on things like Beetlejuice and Batman, and then Edward Scissorhands for Warner Brothers, and then is able to come back and sort of say, I want to revive this project that's still with Disney, and Disney is sort of like, oh, okay, yes, well, we're having a bit of an animation renaissance, you might have noticed. Things are doing well around here. And they call it Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, or it's a sort of like almost last minute branding technique because they want some of that pizzazz.
Yeah.
But originally they were anxious about this gothic children's fairy tale story, and they were a bit arm's length with it and released it as a Touchstone picture rather than as a Disney. Now, of course, as I say, you've got the merchandise, you've got the games, you've got the concerts. They have events at Disney World where you can have the not so scary Halloween party or whatever. And it's a big deal for them. And they're happy to plaster Disney across everything. In terms of the look of the film, I think it's really interesting that this is the first animated film that gets a nomination for an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. It's animation, but it's live action in that way, which I think is really special.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my question for you. Is this a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
It's kind of a Halloween movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's way more set within this kind of Halloween holiday thing. The main characters are ghouls and Frankenstein's monster type creation and all that kind of stuff, and its spirit is this gothic thing going on. So it's not really a Christmas film in that sense, but it's quite an interesting film to watch at Christmas. If I was going to take a theme from this, I'd say it's almost like the idea of how traditions are adapted when they're transplanted into new cultures. And what is Christmas but a old pagan festival that was taken over by the Christians. They took the midwinter feast and then they said, let's slap a Christian theme over this, and then we can get it to take root within the European cultures.
Yeah, I think what really illustrates that to the very end is Jack tries to do all these things, and it's not until Santa comes over Halloween Town and it starts snowing. They're like, what's this? And they're like rolling in the snow and they love it. But it very much is like their version of Christmas.
Yeah.
In the UK, there is no Thanksgiving. So like in America, traditionally, although this is changing for people, you don't really start decorating for Christmas until after Thanksgiving or like that weekend after Thanksgiving. Not everybody does that. It's kind of, that rule is changing. But I think especially the UK, like day after or like on Halloween or day after Halloween, you could watch this film in order to get ready for Christmas.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you start finding mince pies in the shops day after Halloween, 1st of November, and you're like, hang on, we haven't even had Remembrance Day. We haven't even had fireworks nights. And that was actually something I was going to say that has aged well, if you like, about this film from 30 odd years ago, is the fact that Christmas now starts as soon as Halloween ends. The characters preempted that. It's clearly predicted that.
Did you like this film? Do you think it holds up?
It's not going in my Hall of Fame of most favorite film in terms of the story. I think partly because I'm not a big musicals
Mm-hmm.
fan. And so I think your mileage varies depending on how much you love musicals. And I see that there is actually a sing-along version on Disney Plus. So
Oh, yeah.
if you like that, then good for you. But for me, I kind of separated my mind in terms of the story and the character, which wasn't drawing me in the way that other animated films, which we can discuss
Yeah,
later, do. I do love a great animation, but I was just watching it and admiring it for the artistry. And
absolutely.
to me, that was the real kind of takeaway. I love the fact, again, on that making of documentary that I just watched, they're talking to the animators and the art directors and so on, and they have so many references behind the looks of things. So I've got a quote here from Henry Selick, who himself is rather spindly and tall, looks rather like Jack Skellington himself. He says, when we reach Halloween Town, it's entirely German expressionism. So he's sort of thinking like Fritz Lang,
Mm,
Nosferatu,
I see that.
and everything is kind of askew. It's at this crazed angle. It feels very unreal. It's dreamlike. It's this very pared back color scheme. The art director was told, keep to black, white, and orange. That's your color palette. And then
Yeah,
Selleck carries on. He says, when Jack enters Christmastown, it's an outrageous Dr. Seuss-esque set piece. And then finally, when Jack is delivering presents in the real world, everything's plain, it's simple, and it's perfectly aligned. So they've got this really clear idea, and then they'd
yeah,
run with it in terms of the set design and the character design and everything. I loved the Halloween Town area because there's this wonderful kind of textural quality. Apparently what they were doing is that they laid clay onto all of the surfaces of the set and then scraped it back in order to create this textured lines, basically, that obviously the very dramatic lighting would fall upon. And that was inspired by Edward Gorey and Ronald Searle, who work in pen and ink. So they're trying to create, in their words, an illustration that comes to life. I thought that was such an interesting idea. So when you
yeah.
really look at everything, you can appreciate it in terms of artistry. And
Yes,
yeah, I thought that was really kind of impressive. So it's a feast for the eyes, and there's so much to spot.
yes. And Ebert said that in his review. I do agree with that. And again, the artistry is beautiful. And apparently, production took about 3 years. And animators would capture just a few seconds of footage per
Mm,
day by moving the puppets incrementally between
it's
frames,
incredible.
which
Yeah.
is insane. I mean, all that detail.
Because they have hundreds of different heads for each kind of
Yes.
puppet that they swap in
Yeah.
and out. What was so interesting is that, obviously you've got your camera movements, that's all programmed. Everything is storyboarded, of course, before they build anything. And then you've got your lighting, and you've got the animators going in, changing the position between each shot. And the problem is that if the camera moves out of alignment or the lighting, something gets knocked out of place, everything that you've done since that happened, that went wrong, you've got to redo, because each movement obviously depends on the previous movement before it. So you've got to kind of
Yeah.
redo the entire shot if something goes wrong. That is sort of mind blowing. So it's a snail's pace. They're doing like a minute a week, as you say. No
Yeah.
wonder it took 3 years.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I went down a rabbit hole of Zero, the dog,
Yeah.
because I was like, well, surely he's digital. And there were other little bits like in the beginning with like, I think it was the beginning, they're singing and there's like ghosts.
Mm. There's 2-day animation.
Yeah. So Zero is actually still stop motion,
Oh.
but what they did, and this is like, I went down this hole because I'm like, I want to make sure I can understand
Mm.
this. But he is filmed separately with specific lighting,
Mm.
and then they use optical compositing methods. And they also use this thing, beam splitter, which is a reflective mirror, and when it's a reaction with the light.
Mm.
So it requires setting up a limbo background for Zero to one side of the camera and beam splitting him in. And then a large diffusion filter was placed between Zero and the beam splitter for him to have that glow.
Wow.
Which is insane.
I mean, the amount
and now,
of innovation that they've had to go to create it. Yeah. Mind blown.
And again, it's, like we talked in our first episode with Russell, this is all, practical. If there's no CGI in this. It was very, this is 93. This is same year as Jurassic Park. So, you're not having CGI, and I will say one has to wonder if this was made now, how it would be different. And if those like Zero, for example, would be CG, computer. And I think when we're looking at it from a craft standpoint, like it holds up. Like it could have been made today.
I definitely want to come back to that when we talk about what's aged badly or well. To your point about the 2D animation interacting with the 3D, they are having to plan those two forms of animation together, and that's incredible. There's a certain amount of mechanical construction because they're all built around an armature. There's sculptors who are creating these 3D things and then injection molds and then obviously paints them. It's just amazing how they do all these different techniques, which, as you were saying, when Russell Darling, our guest for our first episode on Jurassic Park, came on, he was saying what's so special about 90s filmmaking is that you're using all the tools in the toolbox. And this is a case of you getting, I guess, all the craftspeople in the village to get together and bring all their know-how, all their artistry together. It's no wonder, I think, is it the American Film Institutes or someone of that, some kind of institution of that? I think it was them. They have kind of placed it in their kind of Hall of Fame because of its kind of contribution to artistic innovation. So well done, all of them. But I mean, I think I feel a bit troubled by the fact that it's called Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
I totally thought this entire time he's the one that directed it. And then when I started doing the research, I was like, oh. But you understand, I mean, again, these are business decisions, unfortunately.
But I mean, apparently, he was barely on set.
He's a producer. And you get that a lot with producers, even still Steven Spielberg. He has a lot of films that he's just a producer on, but he gets, it's like Steven Spielberg production. And he's not the director. That's why you think like Steven Spielberg, and this is not me knocking Spielberg at all. He's championed a lot of amazing work, but this is how you're able to get some of these things made, right? Is because you attach this big name to it. But it does make you wonder if, I have no idea if Henry Selick was okay with that.
I don't think he was. I think he sort of said in later years that he feels like he's been rather overlooked. And which is why the Roger Ebert review is rather lovely, because he sort of does foreground him. I've got a quote from Henry Selick, where he says, "It's as though he, Tim Burton, laid the egg and I sat on it and hatched it." So, and then I think Caroline Thompson, I read an interview with her with Business Insider, and she basically explained that the whole production was really tumultuous.
Ooh.
And there were rows. And she was basically brought on after the previous screenwriter. Allegedly, things did not go well in his area, and really all they had at the point where they had begun shooting were these songs that Danny Elfman had scored and written the lyrics for. But they didn't really have a script. So Caroline Thompson comes along and she's sort of asked to create a script. And she sort of said it's a bit like trying to build a house while people are already living in it. And so she couldn't really get that much creatively through, apart from developing the character of Sally a bit more. But apparently she had a huge row with Tim Burton, or he had a row with her when she tried to change the ending. And she claims that he was trying to smash up an editing machine.
Oh, dear.
I looked this thing up. These things are like these enormous, hefty items. That they're not something you can pick up
at
and throw.
that time.
Yeah.
No.
So it sounds like everything was really tough going in terms of that top level creative thing. It sounds like Danny Elfman had a great time, though. He was very happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and he works with Burton. He's a repeated Burton collaborator. And when we're talking about craft, we saw some other reviews where they didn't like Danny Elfman's music as much, but it's very catchy. I found myself last night going, "This is Halloween. This is Halloween."
What's
And I'm like,
this? Yeah, that is
yes.
the one that's catchy for me. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
obviously things weren't happy in the kind of story side of things. And I think that possibly
Yeah.
shows through in the storytelling.
Mhm.
Most of the lines are sung. And I'd say that
Yeah.
most of the invention and characterization comes through in the
Yeah.
actual visual animation, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
There's some incredible techniques. There's a moment where he goes to reach out for a doorknob on a tree in order to enter Christmas Town, and you see his hand and his body reflected in this curved surface.
Yes.
For one thing, how do filmmakers even
Yeah.
do a shot of a reflective surface without showing the camera anyway? But then to do that with the animation in view in this curved surface, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
And just the way the camera swoops through the sets, the camera's not still. It's not just here's a box, here's the characters just moving from A to B within it on
Yeah.
one axis. The camera and the lighting and everything is moving in really dynamic ways.
Yeah.
It's so clever.
Well, it's almost as if these beautiful effects just are able to Band-Aid over or make the audience look the other way of, the plot.
Which is slight, I think it's fair to say.
Is slight.
It's a
fair to
short film.
yeah.
It's based on a
Yeah.
poem. It's more about style, I suppose you might say.
Yes.
I don't think there was any point where I felt terribly surprised, apart from in terms of the visuals. I love all the little details. There's the frog's breath.
Yeah.
When Sally is making the
Yes.
potion,
Oh my gosh, all of her potions.
she opens up a little jar and there's an actual frog that belches
Yeah.
its breath into the potion. I mean, that's lovely. I think there's some wonderful details.
Yeah, and I liked the fact that I will give this to whomever it was, but the Halloween Town really they stayed true to themselves. They were excited about Christmas on their terms, and they were really happy when everybody was terrified. Jack is making these he's a misguided protagonist, right? I feel for him. He is trying. He's making snowflakes with paper, and despite himself, he makes a spider snowflake, which I thought was a really funny and cute and endearing little nugget.
They are endearing, aren't they? They're quite for a bunch of ghouls and beasts and monsters. They're actually very pure of heart.
Yeah, they really
apart
are.
From Oogie Boogie.
They love Halloween, which fair enough.
Yeah.
I did feel that the Doctor and Sally situation was giving me, as the youth today, ick.
Yeah. But she's trying to get out from it, isn't she?
Yes.
So
it reminded me very much of a toxic parent relationship. I made you. You should be grateful.
Yeah.
And also, she's already tried to kill him twice. Why would you let her make you a third meal, dum-dum?
He's like one of those kind of classic oblivious characters, isn't he? So,
exactly.
And then he starts making his own, a new creation in his own image. His own freaking
exactly
image.
A true godlike figure. I also like at the end. I don't know. What did you think about this? They're using cannons to blow Jack out of the sky, and I'm like, well, this is clearly in America. I don't know what they would use. I'm like, if this is a UK production, what would it be? I don't know.
Just a really old cannon from the Napoleonic Wars, maybe.
One time, right? One time. There'd be a trumpet or something. And then after the one cannon from 1,000 years ago didn't work, they'd be like, do you mind please coming down now? Please. Thank you.
It is very American in that sense. I think it's basically meant to be a mirror image, a ghoulish mirror image of Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Which I think we have in the UK and, it's very well established, but I don't think we have the same affinity with it the way that Americans do.
No. Yeah. I grew up on Dr. Seuss. I love Dr. Seuss, right? Even if he is a bit problematic, which we don't have time to get into. But yeah, it's not as big here. But I think that's a really, really good analogy. Anything else we want to say before we move on? Only because we have our own little Christmas cracker coming for our audience. The only other thing I was getting, two things is I think Boogie Oogie has a foot fetish because when Sally's trying to get Santa out, she, puts her leg out and he immediately goes for her foot and is like looking at it. I'm like, okay, Quentin Tarantino.
She basically disassembles herself. She's quite good at unpicking her own threads. She's a sort of ragdoll Frankenstein creation. And she can do it when she needs to get out of somewhere. But she uses this superpower of hers to dismember herself. And basically put out a kind of sexy leg sticking out from some kind of horrible grating somewhere, and that distracts Boogeyman or whatever he is called, so that she can then rescue Santa. But I thought that was a lovely example of using the character design to its logical endpoints. I suppose
this character does this. What else can it do? Which apparently she was like the hardest or one of the hardest characters to make and make move because she's supposed to be very fluid, like a rag doll.
She's sort of slightly off askew and not quite balanced and everything throughout it. But I loved her. And actually, I wonder, I mean, we've just been talking about what maybe is a bit, if you say, icky. I wonder if we want to move on to what's aged badly and all well.
Sure, let's do it. You first.
Well, with Sally, I was thinking about her because it seems to be the case that she is the screenwriter's creation, the thing that she was able to do more with. And so she pushed her character's design more in the direction of a rag doll. I rather like this character. I think she's my favourite character because she's rather kind of still and thoughtful and wistful as a character amidst all this craziness, this manic energy of Halloween Town. And she spends a lot of time observing, and I feel like the audience is placed alongside her to watch things. And she's sort of the figure that is warning about everything.
And Santa even says, listen to this woman.
Yes. She's not listened to. Yeah. No. I think that maybe this was Caroline's writing.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming in because at one point Jack gives her a task of sewing his Santa outfit. And she's like, I've got a bad feeling about this. And he's like, no, you're going to be brilliant. And he's not listening to her. So there is that element. She's trying to assert her independence as well, trying to escape from Dr. Finkelstein.
I love seeing Santa pissed off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, you dum-dums. Yeah. Like, he was not like, ho, 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 it just happens, but I love you anyway. Yeah. Well, gotta go.
No, he's a bit like, more shrewd, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, which was like nice. I will say, I was like, yes, Santa, you tell him. And then he's like, and listen to her. And I'm like, yes, Santa. So I liked seeing Santa pissed off and now just be like, everything's okay.
Yes, and you can't quite take him fully seriously because he's got tiny little hands and tiny little feet that sort of emerge from his enormous expanse of body, which I love. But yeah, I wondered, do you think if it was made now, do you think there would be the temptation to make Sally more, because I think she's an empowered character, but do you think she would be made more kick-ass and more kind of wisecracking and more vocal in a modern version?
I do. I think so. A simple answer, because I like how she is, because I think she is this quiet strength, right? But I do think if it was updated, she'd probably be like, why is no one listening to me? I'm just going to take this into my own hands.
Yeah, she'd probably mount her own mission.
Yes.
Kidnap one of the skeleton reindeer or something and try and...
Jack, you're not listening to me. And then maybe it'd be an hour and a half and then I'd be like, damn it, why'd they expand her? But anyway.
and there's arguments to be said that, we want female characters to be a bit more, I don't know, action oriented, but then sometimes it gets to a point where we're asking for female characters to take the traditional male role in these sorts of stories, rather than necessarily looking at whether or not there are these traditional female qualities that are worthwhile in and of themselves. It's a tricky balance.
Yes,
there are no right
answers. It totally is. Well, I think what I just want to see is full-fledged just female human characters, like women.
Or ragdoll characters.
Or ragdoll characters. Nice. But just, we want to see just humans that we are. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. I love seeing an evil woman and not in like she's trying to take my husband. Like, she's an evil mastermind. Like, and have more than just like one woman one female character in your cast. And then they can be full-fledged. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be kick-ass. They can make mistakes. They can be flawed. They can also have, as you said perfectly, a quiet strength, which men and women have, and I think should be.
I think you said that, Molly. I think you were the one that came up with that phrase.
Thank you. Well done, me.
Well done, you, from 10 minutes ago.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's interesting from a modern point of view is that maybe this is something that Tim Burton has created the conditions for with this film and things like Edward Scissorhands, but creepy, spooky things being popular with kids and being aimed at children and being, I suppose, in some ways sanitized enough that parents would put their kids in front of it. And yeah, I feel like we live in a world of more spooky, cutesy, spooky things, Disney approved. I'm thinking kind of Wednesday TV series and stuff like that. But maybe it is something on the positive side that Tim Burton and his ilk created the theme of humanizing the outcast.
Yeah.
And that kind of aesthetic is very popular.
Yeah.
So that was something that occurred to me as being
commendable.
Yeah, we see it everywhere now, but apparently 35 years ago or so, it was, God, can we possibly allow this
kind
of question?
Yeah.
What do you think of the Boogeyman?
I wrote that too. I thought, mean, this is a PG, and I thought it was kind of like when he dies or disappears or whatever. It was really gross. Like, he essentially becomes bugs, and Santa steps on him or them.
Yes.
And I'm just like, and I was like, this is kind of gross.
Well, it's interesting that Caroline Thompson was really objected to this character, and so this totally went over my head as a Brit. She felt that the character was racist. She was really concerned about casting Ken Page, who's African American, in the role. She thought that it for one thing, the character design to her mind looks like a KKK character. He's got a kind of hood, but I think he's sort of meant to be like a kind of animate burlap sack full of bugs.
Yeah.
That's the only sort of criticism I'd seen on that side, but I wonder if it were made today, would they would bring more diversity into the casting and perhaps try to bring in more cultural references. There's a slight reference to maybe the Mexican Day of the Dead in one of his sequences.
Yeah.
But they might try and do a little bit more in terms of different cultures and representation if it were made now. It's just no bad thing. But in terms of one last good thing, from my point of view, I think we touched on it already, but like that handmade quality, I think that continues on. And there are still filmmakers making stop motion animations. And that, I think, is really heartening. We have still got that craft carrying on. So you've got things like, you've got Guillermo del Toro did stop motion Pinocchio about 3 years ago. And that won Best Animation. You've got Leica Studios. Do you say it's Leica?
I think it's Leica.
They did Coraline, which is Henry Selick's film. Wes Anderson did Fantastic Mr. Fox. Apparently, Burton talked Disney out of doing a computer animated version of.
See, exactly.
This.
Yeah, if it was made today, I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake it. Well, it sounds like they had, and they
thought about it.
Yeah,
but
of course they did.
He put his foot down. But what makes stop motion animation great, I think it's that beautiful detail and care that goes into every frame. And obviously on the British side, we have Nick Park and Aardman Animation. So long may this tradition continue.
Yeah.
So say I.
Well, what is interesting is, this is a 30-plus-year-old movie. And so, how many of these people that are making films now were kids when they watched this and were inspired by this and to continue this on. And I'll say it wasn't like stop motion traditionally wasn't for me, But after watching this, I'm going to definitely challenge myself to watch more. Because a lot of people that I know and respect in taste are like, no, you need to watch this. Oh no, you need to watch that. I respect the craft and Danny Elfman's songs. They aged really well.
What is it about the stop motion animation that didn't appeal to you originally?
Again, it wasn't until I researched this that it dawned on me. And it was because it was like the 70s thing. It was very flat. I think I was bored with it because I'd see it every Christmas. Whereas this is very dynamic, they lit it like you would a live action film. And it looks like it, right?
And the animation is very fluid, like
It's
a
very
hand-drawn.
fluid. This isn't, I mean, obviously this is for children, but also adults can like this. You know what I mean? Like,
we've just spent 40 minutes talking about it, so
yeah, which by the way, before little behind the scenes chat, Claire and I, are we gonna have enough to talk about? I believe in us. I believe in
we
us,
can
listener.
yap on about anything.
We can, yeah, exactly.
We do have a lot to talk about, and it wasn't so much the story, and it was about the making of,
Okay, I'm gonna move us along to recommendations because I want to get onto our Christmas cracker that we have for our.
Could we have a couple of awards?
Yeah, I got one award. Kind of already said it was for the ick or the most cringe, Dr. Finkelstein. He just so much ick, but also maybe Boogie Oogie dying was I like that was just gross. I was just like, oh my God, this is happening, and it's a children's movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got. What do you got?
Well, for me, best visual gag. It's a witch who's during one of the songs, she removes her witch's hat, and as she delivers the line, and then she reveals another little witch on her head who delivers the next line of the song, and she removes her hat.
Yep.
And there's another little witch who delivers the next line. So it's like this kind of Russian doll. And later on, I actually missed this, but apparently she is actually making a little nesting doll as one of the gifts. That's lovely. Also, favorite scenery. I really love when Jack Skellington is walking through this very bare, snowy forest and all these tree trunks. And it just made me think, I have no idea if this was a visual reference of theirs, but it made me think of First World War paintings. So like Paul Nash's The Men in Road.
Oh, yeah.
If you look it up, you'll recognize it. It's all these trees that have been blasted by mortar rounds and everything. But it's just this really stark thing. And maybe that's what fed into the German expressionism that influenced them. I don't know. But really kind of beautifully created set. And then best outfit, Jack Skellington's pinstripe suit.
Classic. So Chloe, what recommendations would you give? Whether it's a vibe, whether it's
to watch next after this.
To watch next.
Well, I do really like Coraline, and the original book is great. And yeah, the animation is lovely, and it's another stop motion animation. I also thought of, this is a really roundabout one, but a specific sequence at the end of the original Fantasia. Health warning, Fantasia, not something that you can put your children in front of without a few caveats. It has some really bad racial stereotyping. But the end sequence set to the night on Bald Mountain has little devils in this kind of bacchanal. It scared me as a child, but it mesmerized me as well. So I love that idea of having a scary animation for children. They did things differently in the 1930s or whenever it was. And then lastly, I just want to say a shout out to Wallace and Gromit.
Yes.
It's a huge feature of British filmmaking. Like, the Aardman animations have been going on for donkey's years, and they are what make me feel patriotic. They're probably the only thing, that and mince pies. And
crackers, Christmas crackers.
And Christmas crackers are pretty good as well, but not as good as Wallace and Gromit. How about
Fair
you?
Enough. So I kind of went down the dark fantasy route, and I'm going Pan's Labyrinth. That was the film. I think that was my first Guillermo del Toro film that I ever saw, or is at least the first one. I was like, who's this director? And it's kind of a dark fairy tale, a bittersweet ending, you could say. But again, the craft, I think, is beautiful. It's just it's just, I love that film. I kind of want to watch it. I wanted to watch it actually right now, but there's like all these other films in Christmas time and that. So I think
I'm not emotionally strong enough to rewatch it at the moment, I
fair
think.
enough. Fair enough.
It is a great
It
film,
is,
though.
yeah. Yeah, I love that film. And then if you are looking for maybe a traditional, maybe Christmas, animated Christmas with a misguided protagonist, but also something you could watch the kids or older kids or just yourself. My husband and I watched it before we had kids, is Claus with a K on Netflix. So it's KLUS. And it's about a postman voiced by Jason Schwartzman, who is a bit misguided when he's banished to this godforsaken town very, very, very far north. And he makes friends with a wood toy maker. And so I'll leave it at that, who is voiced by J.K. Simmons. And there's also, oh my gosh, Jones. What's her first name? She's on Parks and Rec.
Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones. She also has a voice in it. It's becoming one of my favorite Christmas movies, and it's very much a misguided protagonist, animated, more of your traditional, but still fun. You can watch it, I think, with the whole family.
I haven't seen it.
I would recommend it. It's only on Netflix. It's a Netflix film. But yeah, I think it's fun.
Good.
Okay. Should we get on to our Christmas cracker?
Let's get on to a Christmas cracker. How are we going to do this, Molly? Do we alternate?
Great question, Chloe.
Do you want to explain for the listener?
This is what's happening, listener. Because it is Christmas. So Chloe and I thought we'd have a little bit of fun. We're drinking, and what says Christmas and drinking more than a quiz? So we are going to do a quiz that we have made up, and we are going to ask each other. I think we should do like, I'll ask you my 5 questions, and then you ask me, or vice versa. I don't care. I don't care who goes first.
And also, we will try and keep score. But
let's try and keep score.
You can do that. Matter. You can keep score, Molly. I trust you.
I will keep score. Okay,
you can be mistress of ceremonies. You go first with your question.
Okay, so some of these, we have a few questions, a few different types of questions, listener. Again, we're figuring this out on the spot, so just go with us down this Christmas journey.
Get in the sleigh.
So my first 3 questions. So Chloe, my first question for you for 1 point. This film was released in France under the name I Missed the Plane Again.
Oh.
And also, listener, all the answers, these are all 90s related films. They're not necessarily Christmas films. These are all 90s films.
I think I know this. Is this Home Alone?
Which one?
Sorry, say it again.
I Missed the Plane Again.
Oh, again. Oh, I missed that. Well, I'm 2. Home Alone 2.
Yes, yeah. That just made me
the clues in the title. What's the first one called?
I Missed the Plane.
It's just they really thought hard on that one.
Yeah. I Missed the Plane Again. ! Might I add.
Crazy times.
Some of these might be very obvious, but they made me laugh, so that's why I went with them. Okay. This film, this 1990s film, was released in France under the name Rasta Rocket.
Rasta Rocket. Rasta Rocket.
Rasta Rocket. RASTA Rocket.
I have no idea what that is. Rasta Rocket. Am I being really dim?
I don't because I know what the film is. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Okay, give me a clue.
I think I know the year, but I want to make sure.
Oh, the year's not going to help me, Molly. I don't know.
I think it will.
Okay.
1993.
Rasta Rocket.
And I will give you a point. I'll give you a hint. John Candy is in it.
Rasta Rocket. I have no idea. I'm going to give up.
Cool Runnings.
What?
Cool Runnings. Rasta Rocket.
I don't understand the Rasta bit. What's that about?
Rasta, like Rasta. You Rasta man.
Oh, Rasta.
Rasta.
Oh.
Rasta.
I thought you said Rasta like as in like a list.
RASTA.
Rasta. Like Rasta man.
Rasta. Like Rasta man.
Okay.
Maybe I've been here too long.
I thought you were saying Rasta. And I was like, Rasta.
Rasta.
A Rasta. I just misheard you.
Okay, I also may have mispronounced it. My accent can be weird because Southern, it's General American, and now there's like some British being thrown in there. So that's also my fault. Anyway, okay, now this one I think might be hard. Okay. But again, I made me laugh.
Right.
Okay. This film was released in France under the name Love at All Costs.
Love at all costs. Okay.
Do you want a
Is it
hint
going
of
to
the
be
year?
actually be some like kind of serial killer thriller or something rather than a
No.
romance?
I will tell you that it is a rom-com. Or definitely a rom.
Well, that narrows it down.
Yeah, rom-com.
Love at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
I've forgotten every single rom-com.
Rom-com released in 1995.
God, I don't know. 1995. I'm gonna go with Four Weddings and a Funeral just because I have no clue what it could be.
While You Were Sleeping.
Oh, I mean,
That was maybe mean
I don't
of
really
me.
see the logic. Like, why? Yeah, mine are easier than this.
Okay. Okay.
I think.
See, I thought mine were okay. We're about to get some descriptions,
Yeah.
which I think you'll get. Okay, this next group of questions is going to be terrible movie descriptions.
Okay, I love this. Yep.
A guy thinks being a gangster is cool until everyone starts killing each other over money and paranoia. Then he rats everyone out and has to eat boring spaghetti and witness protection forever.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one. A cop and a thief respect each other professionally, talk about their mutual obsession, then shoot each other in the street.
One of my favorite films. And I think it is its 30th
Yes.
anniversary, like around about now. So, ooh.
Yeah. Okay. See?
Yeah.
I thought those would be easy. Okay. Next, we're going to look at the box office in 1991, and this is worldwide. Okay. In 1991, there were 5 top films. Terminator 2 was the number 1 film, and Silence of the Lambs is the number 5 film. The other 3 films, in no particular order, were Beauty and the Beast, Hook, and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. What I want you to do is put those in order. So out of Beauty and the Beast, Hook, and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which one was 2, which one was 3, and which one was 4?
Okay. I don't know if there's going to be a way I can deduce this. Okay, I'm just going to guess. I think Beauty and the Beast because I feel like it was a big film and it won an Oscar, I think. I'm going to go with Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, a special film. It has a real place in my heart.
Yes.
Future episode.
Future episode.
Double episode.
Near future.
And then Hook, and then Silence of the Lambs.
Very close. You just need to flip Beauty and the Beast and Robin Hood. It actually went Terminator 2, number 1, Robin Hood, number 2, Beauty and the Beast, number 3, Hook, number 4, and Silence of the Lambs, number 5 for the 1991 top worldwide grossers.
So kind of wrong, but
very close. I'm going to give you half a point.
Okay.
75%.
Oh, right.
Half a point.
Okay.
75. I'm feeling generous. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
0.75.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This is now about
Right.
co-stars.
Oh, God.
Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan appeared in 3 90s films together. Can you name them?
No. I can never do these.
Okay. So the first is Joe versus the Volcano.
Okay, I've never seen that.
Yeah, that was the hard one. Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, yes, of course.
Can you name the third?
You didn't say That Thing You Do, did you? Are they that's not it?
No, and that's not it.
Why did I think that was it?
Mm-mm. It was in 1998.
Oh, God. Is it You've Got Mail?
It is!
Ah,
See,
okay.
you know.
I know one of them. I'm not very big on my 90s rom-coms. I think that's why we're doing this podcast to
exactly
help me.
Okay, last question.
Bracing myself.
Yeah. This might be a tough one.
Oh, God. Right, have a drink.
Okay. Yeah, have a drink. Okay. This film was nominated for 7 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture and Best Actor and Best Adapted Screenplay, and it won none of them.
Oh.
It lost Best Picture to Forrest Gump, but I think we can say that this picture has been considered more of a classic and definitely a future Total 90s Recall episode. Can you name it? And I can give you a hint for the Best Actor nomination if you would like it. 1994. Undisputed classic.
So, hang on. Was it a 1994 film, but the Oscars were in 1995?
Correct.
Okay.
And it received 7 nominations, including Best Picture.
Is it Pulp Fiction?
Nope.
Oh. All right.
It is shocking this film didn't receive anything. And especially for the Best Actor.
Oh.
Like, this is, if I had a choice between watching this film or Forrest Gump, I'm gonna pick this film. The Best Actor nominee was Morgan Freeman.
Oh, is it Shawshank Redemption?
It is.
But the thing
It
about
is.
Shawshank is like, it wasn't a hit, and it became what it is now because of VHS and people were,
exactly.
renting it and buying it. Okay. So it kind of had a life beyond that.
Yes. Yeah. But it lost Best Picture to Forrest Gump, which interesting.
Well, I think we need to do Forrest Gump at some point because I think we need to assess, because I haven't seen it since I was probably like a teenager.
Oh, ditto.
It's really kind of been damned since. It's one of those films. It's a bit like Crash in the noughties that was loved at the time, and then
exactly. And the writer did not like the adaptation. And in fact, they wrote I don't remember the author's name, but they
Forrest Gump
we're talking about. The author of the book, I should say, and he wrote a sequel, and like the first line or two of the sequel, I'm trying to remember what it said. If you ever write a book about your life, don't let somebody make a movie of it or something like that. It would be interesting, and it'd also be interesting to go back and watch, because I remember at the time the big story around that film too was the VFX. How they were able to seamlessly put Tom Hanks in all these scenes. So I'd be wondering if it holds up. That might be a good one to bring Russell Darling back. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you got 5.75 out of, I think, 7. I think you only missed 2.
Ooh.
Let's see. Because
really?
1, 2, 3. You got the box office. You got a 0.75. So you only missed Cool
generous.
Runnings and While You Were Sleeping. And then you got the Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
I think you're being very generous.
It's Christmas. Of course I am.
Okay. Are you happy to keep your own score, Molly?
Yes.
Okay.
I will be honest.
All right. To be honest, I don't care. But here are my questions. So the 1996 box office. I have surveyed the top 20 worldwide box office.
Okay.
And I picked 5 films from that top 20.
Okay. I might write this down, FYI. I'm not cheating.
I think you should, yes.
Okay.
And do not worry. I'm not asking you to say what position they were in the chart.
Great.
I'm just asking you to order them
from
top to bottom.
Okay.
So the films are Twister.
Oh, love that movie.
The English Patient. 101 Dalmatians. Which I'm going to assume is the live action version.
Yeah.
With Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Glenn Close, I think,
yep.
yes. Mission Impossible. And Independence Day. So can you order that from most popular, biggest box office to least popular in terms of box office?
Okay, hold on. So I'm speaking out loud at the moment. Okay, these are not my answers, but I'm thinking Independence Day has got to be like, not maybe the first, but it's up there. It's going to be, out of these, it's going to be the top. Or Mission Impossible. This is just for that year. This doesn't include like re-releases or anything like that.
No, I think this is just in 1996 at the time.
Okay.
I assume so.
101 Dalmatians is definitely up there because it's like a kid's movie, so that's going to do well. I feel like The English Patient is going to be like the bottom, because even though it was like critically loved, it can be a snore. And then and then Twister somewhere in there. I wonder if I think you might have thrown in 101 Dalmatians as a like MacGuffin or something, because it is a kids movie, so it'd probably be higher than I think.
I realize I unwittingly chose 2 Kristen Scott Thomas films there. In fact, is she even in 101 Dalmatians? Have I made that up?
She is.
Let me have a look. No, it's Jolie Richardson who's in that and Glenn Close. I don't think she's in it. And then just a lot of dogs. No, but I had to put in a couple of KST films.
Yeah, obviously.
So what are you going with your
I'm
order?
actually just going to go with my gut here. And I'm going to say the highest one out of those is Independence Day. Then, no, I'm questioning myself now because I feel like.
You're taking this way too seriously,
Okay,
Molly.
fine. Okay. I like quizzes and I like film.
I could tell. Thank God we don't do this for every episode.
When I first suggested this podcast, I was like, should we do trivia at the end? Or a game? You're like, mm-mm. Okay, and which was the right call, obviously.
Here's the reason why no.
Independence
take it
Day.
way too seriously. Okay, go on.
Okay. Mission Impossible 1, 101 Dalmatians, Twister, The English Patient.
Okay, so the correct answer is, at number 1 in the worldwide box office of 1996 was Independence Day. So you got that right. And then it was Twister at number 2. Yeah.
Yes.
And then it was Mission Impossible at number 3. And then it was 101 Dalmatians at number 6.
I mean, I'm not mad at it.
And then way at the bottom, you were right, English Patient at number 19. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Twister just needed to go higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need to put that up.
So that you got like 2 out of 5. So that's
I mean, if I just moved Twister to 2, I would have gotten everything else.
Yeah. Maybe.
So it's 0.75?
Give yourself a pat on the back and whatever you feel. 0.75. Why not? Let's move on swiftly. Okay. Here is the foreign film names. Different languages.
Okay.
So here's one I think is quite easy, but I tried it on Tris and he didn't have a clue. In Portuguese, this film's title translates as Change of Habit. What is the 90s film?
Oh, Sister Act?
Yes. Correct. There's a couple more.
Okay.
In Italian, this film's title translates as 58 Minutes to Die.
Oh my God. 58 minutes.
What film is it? And if you want a clue, would you like a clue?
Yes.
It is a sequel. And it is a sequel to a film that is often considered to be one of the greatest Christmas films of all time.
Oh, it's Die Hard.
Yes, but it's a sequel.
Yeah, so Die Hard 2.
Yep. And then a couple of Japanese translations, just because these really made me laugh.
Okay. Yes.
17-year-old girl's medical chart. What film is that?
Wait, that's the name of the film?
It's probably snappier in Japanese.
Say that again.
17-year-old girl's medical chart. I don't know why.
I really thought this was like
I'm not laughing.
The bad description of the movie. 17-year-old girl's medical chart. Jesus.
One of those words does appear in the original English title.
Girl? Girl Interrupted?
Yes!
Yay!
I can't believe you got that. There you
Yay!
go. And then the last one, I think you'll get this. Okay. Japanese title, Love is Deja Vu.
Oh, Love is Deja Vu. It's rom-com.
I'd say it's more com than rom, but there's definitely a romantic element to it, and strong emphasis on deja vu.
Deja vu. Oh, Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say, this is not a test, but I laughed when I saw that the Japanese title for Robin Hood Men in Tights is Robin Hood King of Tights.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
It's true.
Why not? So that made me laugh. Okay, so you got...
That was 4.
You kind of got them all. Yeah, well done. Yeah, a whole point, I guess. And then you obviously have an American focus, so I thought I would do a British focus, BAFTA trivia.
God. Okay, I knew you were going to do this.
BAFTA trivia.
I respect that. Okay.
Okay. In 1998, out of these nominees released in 1997, which film won the best film BAFTA out of these 4 nominees? Mrs. Brown, Titanic, The Full Monty, and LA Confidential.
I think you're trying to trick me with Titanic, but I think since it's BAFTA, it's got to be Full Monty.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. Love it. And another BAFTA one. In 1995, who won the Best Actor BAFTA? You may actually know this.
Were these so for the films in 95 or 4? 94?
I'm guessing they were 1994 films. Yes. 1995 was the BAFTA year. So, Terence Stamp in Priscilla, Queen of the Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, classic. Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump, much maligned. Hugh Grant in 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
It's Hugh Grant. We already covered this.
I just want to say John Travolta was also nominated for Pulp Fiction, but well done. You really do know. And I think I've been very kind.
You have been kind.
Yes. Maybe I just forgot that you probably already looked this up. And then finally, no, not finally, I've got 2 more questions.
Okay.
But they're fun.
See, this wasn't kind. You did more than I did. Okay.
Oh, did I? No, I've given you more
I don't care. I like it. Let's
more
do
chances for points. More chances for points.
This is true. Because right now I'm in the lead. But only because you have more
Out of
questions.
Aladdin, Toy Story 2 and The Lion King, which was the highest grossing Disney film of the 1990s?
Shit. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Lion King.
God damn it, you're good. Yes.
Okay.
And then it was Aladdin, and then it was Toy Story 2. Okay, Hakuna Matata. And then lastly, because it's fun, describe the film badly. I didn't come up with these. I went to Board Panda, and they had assembled it from a bunch of tweets from yonks ago, from the days when it was Twitter. This one is funny. Public transport running ahead of schedule for once. What film is that?
Not while you were sleeping?
Public transport running ahead of schedule for once.
Speed.
Yeah. Now this one made me laugh. Stockholm Syndrome works.
Oh my God. Stockholm Syndrome works.
Yeah.
Not Misery.
The expression on your face.
I have no idea. What is it?
It's Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah, it is very pithy.
Of course it is.
Here's another one. A beautiful princess gets catfished.
Well, Shrek, but that wasn't. She kind of catfishes Shrek, if you're being honest.
And also, that's not a 90s film.
I was gonna say it's not a 90s. I don't think so. No, I think it's like 2002. No. Okay, well, let's go through princess movies. Obviously, Beauty and the Beast. Not The Little Mermaid.
You're in the right area, though. Big hit.
It's not Lion King.
Already mentioned in this quiz.
Toy Story. Wait. Oh, Aladdin. Duh.
Aladdin. Yeah.
Duh.
And then one last one, because this really made me laugh. Priest kidnaps child for cult and eventual marriage to politician twice his age. What film is that? From the 1990s.
Say it again.
Priest kidnaps child for cult and eventual marriage to politician twice his age. It is not kindly thought about nowadays. People are not fans. Well, some people are.
Well, Love Actually was in the 2000s, so it's not that.
No. What plot in Love? I mean, a lot goes on in Love Actually, so maybe there is a...
It could be in there. And can I get an actor?
Ewan McGregor?
Oh! Attack of the Clones. Oh, not Attack of the Clones. Phantom Menace.
Yes.
Yes. Episode 1.
Star Wars
That's
episode
amazing.
1. Yeah, well done. Rachel Berkey came up with that one.
Well done, Rachel.
That really made me laugh. So that is the end of my quiz. How did you do, Molly?
I got
scoring yourself
9.75.
Wow. Were there even 9 points available for me to win?
No, there were 7 points. There were 8 points available for you to win.
Okay.
There were 8.
Okay, well, you just did better than me.
I know.
Generally.
We should have been like, okay,
Quiz
I'm going to do 10 or I'm going to do 5. But
yeah, I mean, I think we did have that conversation and then we just went off piste. We're not very good as quiz masters.
No, but
that's all right. It was
fun.
It's all for the taking part. It's Christmas.
Yes. Yes. Well, audience, listeners, thank you so much. Merry Christmas wherever and whomever you are celebrating with. I hope you're enjoying your own quizzes or your own crackers. And that's going to be it for us this year. We will see you next year. We will see you.
2026?
2026. Where the hell is this year gone? If you want more Total 90s Recall, you can follow us on Instagram at Total90sRecall. You can also email us if that's your thing. Total90sRecall@gmail.com. If you are liking this, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you're listening right now so you know when new episodes drop, which is every second and fourth Thursday of the month. Also, please give us a like. 5-star reviews really helps us as we're growing this new podcast. Tell a friend. Tell whoever you're sitting around your Christmas dinner with or when you're
Write
at the
a
pub.
letter to Santa. There's still time.
Santa. Yeah, tell
Santa.
Santa.
There isn't still time. But yeah.
You never know. Maybe Santa's at the pub. When you leave the pub because you need to leave, escape your family. Tell people at the pub about Total 90s Recall. I'm Molly.
And I'm Chloe.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you at the movies.